As they traveled into the unknown, the human forces were forced to confront not only external threats, but internal doubts. The galaxy's coalition, made up of various species, including the reluctant Azracs, struggled to work together. Old rivalries reared their ugly heads, and leadership conflicts arose. Humanity's presence, as both a symbol of survival and a reminder of their unknown potential, was a point of contention. Some factions viewed them with reverence, while others saw them as a tool to be used in the coming fight. Price found himself walking a razor-thin line. Every decision, every move, had to be calculated carefully. His military expertise and the trust he had earned with his troops allowed him to lead with unwavering confidence. But the weight of what he had uncovered, what humanity was meant to be, never left him. Every step forward felt like a step closer to an unknown future. When they finally reached the anomaly, the scale of the threat became undeniable. It wasn't just a cosmic entity, it was a force so powerful that it defied understanding, a black hole of destruction that consumed everything in its path, leaving nothing but void in its wake. The galaxy had been right to fear it, but humanity, with its unique resilience and ability to adapt, might just be the key to stopping it. The mission was a success in the end, but not in the way Price had envisioned. As humanity and their allies worked together to seal the anomaly, a heavy cost was paid. Lives were lost, sacrifices made, and the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had not just fought to survive, it had fought to ensure the survival of everyone. But victory was bittersweet. Price had exposed humanity's true purpose to the galaxy, and in doing so, had united the galaxy for a common cause. Yet, the moral toll of this revelation weighed on him heavily. Had humanity truly become the galaxy's saviors, or had they simply revealed themselves as the ultimate weapon? Was their survival designed, engineered, really something to be celebrated, or had it been a terrible gift that no one could fully understand? As the final battle concluded and the galaxy began to heal, Price found himself staring out at the stars. The galaxy would remember humanity, not as the underdog or the invader. Yet the question lingered in his mind, was the galaxy truly ready for what humanity had yet to discover about itself? Had this war been the beginning of something far greater, something that no one could predict? The galaxy's new order had been established, and humanity had secured its place within it. But as Price gazed out at the stars, he couldn't shake the feeling that the true journey was only just beginning. As the 10th prepared for their next battle, a new question lingered in Price's mind. What secret did humanity hold? And why had the Azracs been so determined to uncover it? Price knew one thing for certain. This wasn't just another campaign. This was something far bigger, something that could change the course of galactic history. And the time to find the answer was running out. General Jonah Price's plan to launch a massive counteroffensive against the Azracs Empire had been meticulous. He and his elite ground forces, known as the 10th, were preparing for a final strike that would cripple the Azracs' hold on the galaxy's outer colonies. Humanity's ability to adapt, survive, and even thrive against overwhelming odds had made them an unexpected thorn in the side of the ruthless alien empire. Price had no illusions about the danger of this war, but he believed that with the right strategy, humanity could hold its ground and secure their place in the galaxy. But just as Price was finalizing his plans for the next major assault, the unexpected happened. During a routine patrol, the 10th was ambushed by a small but highly skilled Azracs raiding party. The skirmish was brutal, and in the chaos, a human soldier, Private Victor Alvarez, was captured. Alvarez had survived numerous battles, his body and mind seemingly immune to the horrors that broke others. His ability to bounce back from injuries, both physical and psychological, had earned him a reputation as a living legend among his comrades. However, what the Azracs would learn in their interrogation chambers was far more shocking than anyone could have anticipated. In the cold, sterile halls of the Azracs warship, Alvarez was subjected to brutal interrogation. But the results didn't match anything they had encountered before. He recovered from injuries in a fraction of the time it took for any other species, including other humans. What was even more alarming was the psychological aspect. Despite the immense stress and trauma of his capture, Alvarez's mental state remained unwavering. His memories remained intact, and his ability to focus and plan only grew stronger with time. The Azrac scientists, baffled by his resilience, soon realized they were dealing with more than just a human soldier. They were facing a completely new type of being. This revelation sent shockwaves through the Azrac's military command. The humans they had underestimated were not merely survivors. They were a product of something much more terrifying. The interrogation data was quickly transmitted to Azrac's high command, including a senior official known as Shalruk. Shalruk had always believed that humans were simply a primitive nuisance, nothing more than pests to be crushed in the grand scheme of intergalactic warfare. But now, his perspective was rapidly changing. If what he had learned was true, then humanity was not only resilient, it was potentially unstoppable. Back on the human side, General Price received an unexpected transmission late one night. The message came from Dr. Ellis Hunter, a former mentor of Price's and a brilliant scientist who had long been researching human biology. Price had not spoken to her in years, but her name was a blast from his past. Dr. Hunter had always suspected that humanity was different, unique among the galaxy's species. Her research into human genetics had always been controversial, especially when she theorized that humans weren't just naturally resilient, but rather had been designed for something more. When Price opened the transmission, he found an encrypted file containing shocking information. Dr. Hunter's research had uncovered something that changed everything he knew about humanity. According to her findings, humans had not evolved naturally. Instead, they had been genetically engineered centuries ago by an ancient, now extinct species, a species that had long since disappeared from the galaxy. These creators had designed humanity with one purpose in mind: to survive and thrive in the most brutal, violent environments possible. They had crafted humans to be aggressive, adaptable, and, most chillingly, to grow stronger the longer they fought. This genetic manipulation wasn't just about physical survival. Humanity's mental endurance, their ability to withstand psychological trauma, and their unique drive to overcome all odds were all the result of this ancient bioengineering. The very traits that had made humans seem like the underdogs in galactic politics were, in reality, part of a carefully crafted design. Price's own uncanny ability to inspire his troops to push them beyond their limits was not just a testament to his leadership. It was part of the genetic inheritance left to humanity by a civilization that had long since vanished. At first, Price felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. The implications were staggering. Every victory, every battle won, every sacrifice that had been made by humanity, it all seemed to be part of a much larger, far more terrifying plan. Price had always thought of humanity as the underdog, a species forced to fight with everything it had simply to survive. But now, he was faced with the unsettling truth that humanity had been built for conflict. Their resilience, their willingness to fight no matter the odds, had been designed from the very beginning. As Price processed the truth, the situation on the front lines began to shift dramatically. The Azracs, now aware of humanity's true nature, began to alter their strategies. They realized that they were no longer facing a species that could simply be crushed. They were facing something far more dangerous. If the Azracs were to defeat humanity, they would have to rethink everything they knew about warfare. But it wasn't just the Azracs who were reacting. Other galactic factions, some of whom had long viewed humanity as a weak and inconsequential species, began to reconsider their stance. Whispers began to spread about humanity's origins, about the possibility that humans were not just another species to be dominated, but a force that could potentially rival the galaxy's most powerful empires. This revelation also had profound effects within Price's own ranks. His soldiers, who had always been fiercely loyal and proud of their humanity, now faced a moral dilemma. They had always fought for survival, for freedom, and for the protection of their colonies. But now, with the knowledge that they were genetically engineered to be warriors, some began to question whether they were just pawns in an ancient game. Was their struggle for freedom truly their own, or were they simply fulfilling a purpose set out for them long ago? Price had always led with the belief that humanity had the right to define its own destiny. But now, with this new knowledge, that belief was starting to crack. Despite the ethical questions surrounding their origins, Price knew that they could not afford to back down. Humanity had been given the gift of survival, but it came with a heavy price. the war was far from over, and the Azrax Empire was not about to let go of their hold on the galaxy. In fact, the Azrax had already begun developing countermeasures, biological and technological defenses designed specifically to neutralize the human threat. And as the war raged on, Price found himself not only leading a fight for humanity's survival, but also for the future of a species that had been created to be warriors. But in the depths of his mind, a question lingered. Was humanity truly ready to confront the full consequences of its origins? Or had they unleashed a force that could ultimately consume them all? The final battle for the resource-rich planet that lay at the heart of the Azrax Empire's control was approaching. General Jonah Price and his elite human ground forces, the 10th, had spent months preparing for this moment, knowing it would be a decisive blow in the ongoing war against the Azrax. The human colonies were at stake, and Price was determined to take back what had been wrongfully stolen. Victory would solidify humanity's position in the galaxy, forcing even the most powerful empires to acknowledge the species they had once dismissed as insignificant. But, as always, war had a way of throwing the unexpected into the mix. The last days before the battle were consumed with strategic preparations. Price reviewed every bit of intelligence his forces had gathered, from satellite scans to intercepted communications. But it was during one final sweep of the ruins of an ancient human colony, left forgotten after a previous Azrax invasion, that everything changed. This particular colony had been abandoned decades ago, its inhabitants wiped out in a massacre that still haunted the few survivors. But what Price and his team uncovered beneath the debris and charred remains would alter the course of the war and, potentially, humanity's destiny. Deep beneath the wreckage of collapsed buildings, in a hidden underground chamber, they found something strange. An alien structure seemingly untouched by time and war stood in eerie silence. The walls were covered in strange symbols, patterns of light and color that seemed to shift the longer one gazed at them. There was an otherworldly energy in the air, and as Price ventured deeper into the chamber, he could feel something stir inside him. It was as though the very walls of the structure were alive, waiting for him. At the heart of the chamber, they found an artifact, an ancient stone tablet covered in intricate carvings. Price immediately understood that this was no ordinary relic. It had been purposefully hidden, a secret placed here by those who had known what was coming. Dr. Hunter had warned him that humanity's past held secrets that had been long buried, but even she could not have anticipated what Price was about to learn. With the help of Dr. Hunter, who was brought in to study the artifact, they began to translate the cryptic writings. What they uncovered was far beyond their expectations. The writings spoke of a race far older than any species in the galaxy, a race that had been wiped out long ago by a force beyond comprehension. This ancient species, once the caretakers of the galaxy, had created humanity not just as warriors, but as the ultimate survivors. Humanity had been engineered to face something that no one else could, an unspeakable cosmic force, a malevolent entity that fed on destruction and chaos. This force had once been defeated, but it was never truly destroyed. It had been sealed away in a remote part of the universe, locked away by the ancient caretakers of the galaxy, and only humanity held the key to keeping it contained. Humanity's genetic resilience, their unique ability to survive and adapt in the face of impossible odds, was not just an accident of evolution, it was a crucial part of their purpose. The ancient race had infused humanity with a biological drive to endure, to grow stronger in the face of conflict, and to adapt in ways that no other species could. This was why humanity had always been so resilient. It was all by design. Humanity had been created as the guardians of the galaxy's greatest secret, the key to preventing the return of the cosmic force. The Azrax Empire, it turned out, had always known this. They had known that humanity wasn't just a nuisance. They knew the truth about the human race's origins and its potential. Their war against humanity wasn't just about conquest, it was a desperate attempt to prevent humanity from fully awakening to their true purpose. The Azrax feared that if humanity ever discovered the truth, they would become the galaxy's most powerful force, capable of unlocking the ancient secrets that could stop the cosmic entity from returning. And that, the Azrax believed, could destroy everything. The implications of this discovery were profound. The Azrax weren't simply trying to crush humanity, They were trying to contain it, to keep humanity from unlocking its true potential, to ensure the key to the galaxy's survival remained hidden. They had been hunting humanity not to expand their empire, but to suppress a truth that, if revealed, could alter the balance of power in the galaxy forever. For Price, this discovery was a gut punch. The war had never been about resources. It had never been about the fate of a single planet or even the survival of humanity alone. It was about something much greater, a cosmic battle that had been waged long before humanity had even become aware of it. His people weren't just fighting for survival against an empire, they were fighting to keep the universe from plunging into oblivion. Now Price had a choice to make. His original plan had been clear. He would lead humanity's forces into battle against the Azrak's empire, reclaim the planet, and show the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. But the stakes had changed. Now, it wasn't just about winning a battle or a war. It was about ensuring the survival of the entire universe. Price stood in the ruins of the ancient colony, staring at the alien artifact, knowing that the answers they had uncovered meant far more than the war they were about to fight. Humanity had been created for this purpose, to fight not only for their survival, but for the survival of everything else. The Azraks were just one part of the puzzle, a powerful and dangerous obstacle. Yes, but not the true enemy. The true enemy was something far older, far more dangerous, and it had been watching, waiting, hidden in the shadows of the galaxy. And humanity was the only force capable of stopping it. Price's mind raced as he considered his options. He could continue with the plan to liberate the resource-rich planet, ensuring humanity's place in the galaxy, or he could shift his focus. He could try to unite the galaxy's fractured species and prepare them for the coming war, not against the Azraks, but against a force so ancient and so powerful that it threatened all of existence. The weight of the decision pressed down on him. Price knew one thing for certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. The war for humanity's future had just become the war for the future of the entire universe. And humanity was now at the heart of it all. The stakes were higher than anyone had ever realized. General Jonah Price had never been one for easy decisions, but this was the most dangerous path he could have chosen. After discovering the true purpose of humanity's existence, the revelation that they were created not just to survive, but to prevent the collapse of the universe itself, Price knew there was no turning back. It wasn't just about fighting the Azraks anymore. It was about uniting the galaxy to face an existential threat none of them could comprehend, let alone face alone. For centuries, the Azrak's empire had dominated the galaxy, crushing civilizations, subjugating species, and sowing fear. But even they feared humanity's potential. Price, driven by the truth of humanity's origins, knew the only way to survive the coming cosmic catastrophe was to expose this truth to everyone: the Azraks, the peaceful species, and every other faction in the galaxy. The universe had been living under a fragile veil of ignorance, unaware of the true threat that had once wiped out ancient civilizations. Price's gamble was monumental. He had no illusions that the galaxy would embrace this truth readily. Wars were fought over far less. But to expose the facts, to bring everything into the light, he would either unite the galaxy for a common cause or send it into chaos. He couldn't afford to fail. This wasn't just about winning the war. It was about surviving the far greater enemy that lay beyond the stars. With the support of his loyal troops and a handful of trusted allies, Price broadcasted the truth to the galaxy: humanity's origin, the purpose behind their existence, and the danger that loomed. The response was swift, violent, and overwhelming. Factions and species that had spent centuries warring with each other began to mobilize, their priorities shifting. Old hatreds resurfaced, alliances splintered, and doubt crept in. Could the galaxy truly unite against an unknown force, a cosmic entity that had been sealed away eons ago? Or had Price, in his desperation, pushed them too far? The Azrak's empire, having long known of humanity's role, found themselves in an impossible situation. They had fought against humanity for decades, but now they faced the uncomfortable truth that humanity was not merely a threat to their empire, it was the key to preventing the galaxy's destruction. Their entire existence had been built around controlling and containing humanity's potential, But now they were forced to ask themselves, could they join forces with the very species they had sought to destroy? The Azrak's leadership, divided by their own fear of humanity's power, found themselves in an ethical quandary. Could they destroy humanity to preserve their own survival? Or was this the time to set aside their conquest and join in a fragile alliance? The decision was agonizing. The Azraks were not the type to forgive, let alone form alliances with their enemies. But as they came to understand the gravity of the situation, the logic of unity began to make sense. The galaxy was fractured, but the stakes had never been clearer. Price understood that while the Azraks were their enemies, they were also a necessary ally in this fight. He negotiated a delicate truce, one that was built not on trust, but on necessity. In the face of extinction, even the most bitter rivals could be forced to cooperate. As the galaxy rallied behind Price's vision, humanity's elite forces, the 10th, were deployed on the front lines. The mission was nothing short of impossible. To reach the cosmic anomaly that threatened to unravel the universe, Price's forces would have to journey beyond known space, into a region of the galaxy where even the bravest had never ventured. No species, no matter how resilient, had ever attempted such a feat. Humanity, however, was different. They were designed to survive, to adapt, and to endure in the face of overwhelming odds. As they traveled into the unknown, the human forces were forced to confront not only external threats, but internal doubts. The galaxy's coalition, made up of various species, including the reluctant Azraks, struggled to work together. Old rivalries reared their ugly heads, and leadership conflicts arose. Humanity's presence, as both a symbol of survival and a reminder of their unknown potential, was a point of contention. Some factions viewed them with reverence, while others saw them as a tool to be used in the coming fight. Price found himself walking a razor-thin line. Every decision, every move, had to be calculated carefully. His military expertise and the trust he had earned with his troops allowed him to lead with unwavering confidence. But the weight of what he had uncovered, what humanity was meant to be, never left him. Every step forward felt like a step closer to an unknown future. When they finally reached the anomaly, the scale of the threat became undeniable. It wasn't just a cosmic entity, it was a force so powerful that it defied understanding, a black hole of destruction that consumed everything in its path, leaving nothing but void in its wake. The galaxy had been right to fear it, but humanity, with its unique resilience and ability to adapt, might just be the key to stopping it. The mission was a success in the end, but not in the way Price had envisioned. As humanity and their allies worked together to seal the anomaly, a heavy cost was paid. Lives were lost, sacrifices made, and the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had not just fought to survive, it had fought to ensure the survival of everyone. But victory was bittersweet. Price had exposed humanity's true purpose to the galaxy, and in doing so, had united the galaxy for a common cause. Yet, the moral toll of this revelation weighed on him heavily. Had humanity truly become the galaxy's saviors, or had they simply revealed themselves as the ultimate weapon? Was their survival designed, engineered, really something to be celebrated, or had it been a terrible gift that no one could fully understand? As the final battle concluded and the galaxy began to heal, Price found himself staring out at the stars. The galaxy would remember humanity, not as the underdog or the invader, but as the guardians. Yet the question lingered in his mind, was the galaxy truly ready for what humanity had yet to discover about itself? Had this war been the beginning of something far greater, something that no one could predict? The galaxy's new order had been established, and humanity had secured its place within it. But as Price gazed out at the stars, he couldn't shake the feeling that the true journey was only just beginning.